Hello, welcome back to Fresh from the Garden Fashion Blog. I'm your host, Reed Brown. Hello and welcome back to Fresh from the Garden Fashion Blog. I'm your host, Reed Brown, and this is the latest spring fashion in 2017. No, I'm just kidding. This is what I had in my car because it was raining outside and it's actually pretty cold. But what I want to talk about today is what kind of soil I have at this garden, because that's one of the biggest considerations you can think of when you're gardening. What kind of plants can you plant? How deep can they go? Do you need to worry about the subsoil and getting moisture down there? Can the roots tap into the clay and get nutrients back? So today I've been mostly just puttering around, adding wood chips to build up soil, because no matter what kind of soil you have, it's probably always a good idea to add wood chips. And I've got some exciting new things. The honeyberries are actually making fruit. The biggest thing I'm trying to control right now is not planting too much of the stuff for the parents' land, because it's so tempting. I have all this empty space over here that I could be putting fruit trees in. And a couple of things I actually have put in. I'm going to put the blueberry bush and a service berry over there. And I just added this a couple days ago with a peach tree, another service berry, the north line, that's the Tyson's, I think. And then I went into the forest and pulled out a mulberry, and I also pulled out a maple tree. And then also transplanted some green onions, coneflowers, black-eyed Susans, more coneflowers, and bergamot. But what I want to show you today is what kind of soil do we have at the garden. Now I thought about this, and I could dig down into the garden soil, and it would probably heal pretty quickly, but I'm not really willing to make a big scar in the land for no reason. So what I will do is dig out, just right on the other side of this fence, a hole in the soil over there that no one's doing anything with, to show you how deep the soil is. So I'll go do that. So it's interesting to pick a representative spot, because if you see this big field of Creeping Charlie, there was a huge load of compost that was laid on top of there last year for a few weeks. And then right over there, there's a field of wood chips. So I'll try to find a spot in here somewhere, and I'll show you what the soil looks like, and hopefully that's somewhat representative of the soil of this whole garden. Okay, so I'm gonna pick this spot right here. It's not in the wood chips, and it's not where the compost was parked last year. And then when I'm done, I'll just cover it up some wood chips and no one will be any the wiser. So right here is the soil we're gonna work with. Okay, so we're off the tripod. So when I was digging my fruit trees in, this is actually somewhat deeper than what I experienced in my garden, but the general thing is the general layout is the same. So you can see the clay starts about 8 inches down, 8 to 10 inches, although it doesn't actually look terrible. The organic matter does penetrate down fairly far, at least a foot. And the top layers are actually pretty nice. I mean, this is some pretty black dirt. Granted, it has been raining today, so that's partly why it's so dark. Here's the stuff I pulled out. But you can see it's really not that deep of good dirt. And in my experience, I actually had less, I couldn't dig down more than a foot, actually. And at the bottom of this hole, I found this piece of cement. So that's what we're working with. Okay, so I've gone ahead and fixed it with wood chips. Hopefully the worms will carry the organic matter down into the soil and heal the wound I just made, but I've done my due diligence and it won't be muddy now. Okay, so I hope that was informative, and that's kind of the soil conditions we're working with here. About 8 to 10 inches of nice black dirt, and then below that some fairly hard packed clay, and then below that some cement chunks. Because this whole area, if you look over here, the whole of this area used to be DOT dumping ground, and in the background is actually the existing DOT. So if you go in the forest, there's all sorts of cement chunks and things like that. So what I think happened was they bulldozed all the debris off of this area, added about a foot of black dirt, and then made it the garden. And I have come in about 20 years into the process. So I'm not the first generation, if you will, of community gardeners here, probably the, 10th or 20th. because people haven't really done perennials. It's mostly like you do it for a couple years and then leave. But yeah, that's the more of the story. That's the type of soil we're working with, and I hope that explains kind of my gardening decisions and what I'm working with at the moment. So have a nice day.